The arrival of Gen Y as the largest working generation in history is a global phenomenon. Malaysia is no exception to this, with the 20 to 30-year-old demographic accounting for 17% of our total population, and the Malaysian youth population is set to breach the 14 million mark by 2020. As we all enter the real working world, we begin to build our careers, buy our first car, and some of us will decide to start a family. A huge part of being Gen Y is our craving for freedom and flexibility in our professional and personal lives. Independence. The ability to make decisions you can call your own. For many of us, the big step towards that prized independence is buying your first home. Now, most people around the world would agree that buying really is the best option long term. But Malaysian culture seems to take it to the extreme. They say it's the only option. You can see the older generations buying properties left and right, while the younger generation struggles to buy their first house, as subsale prices are driven to ridiculous levels by the older generation buying houses, apartments, and condominiums to flip for a profit. In the face of an avalanche of $500,000 ringgit homes, renting is possibly not as bad as it first seems. Let's look at a typical scenario for someone living in the Klang Valley. First off, let's lay some groundwork. The median monthly household income in KL is approximately 7,620 ringgit, as indicated by the Department of Statistics Malaysia's Report of Household Income and Basic Amenities Survey 2014. So we've got these two families, the Lee family and the Reza family. Both have the same monthly income of 7,500, and let's say both have 60,000 in their bank accounts. For the sake of this video, let's say both families end up staying in identical condos next to each other, some 12 kilometers away from the KL city center. The Lees decide to buy their place for 380,000 ringgit, while the Rezas rent theirs for 1,500 ringgit a month. Out of pocket, the Lee family needs to pay for legal fees, disbursement loans, stamp duties, other disbursements, and some extra fees. All of that comes up to 19,880. Add in the 10% down payment of 38,000, and the Lees spend a grand total of 57,880 before even moving into their place, effectively wiping out their savings in the process. The Lees now own a condo worth 380,000, but also owe the bank 342,000, minus the 10% down payment. The Lee family now has a net worth of 38,000. On the other side, the Reza family didn't spend any large sum of money, and they don't owe the bank anything, so their net worth stays at 60,000. Now, for their monthly commitment on housing, the Lee family has to pay for their loan installments of 1,700 a month, management fees of 250 a month, DBKL assessment tax and quit rent of about 150 a month combined, which adds up to about 2,100 a month. The Reza family, on the other hand, only has to pay their rent, which is about 1,500 a month. Now, we've got a difference of 600 in the monthly commitments of both families. Let's assume the Rezas throw that 600 a month difference in an investment portfolio with an annual growth rate of 6%. Fast forward some 30 years and assume both families are retiring and migrating to another country. Adjust the numbers a little to account for housing growth 2% per annum, portfolio growth 6% per annum, and inflation 3% per annum. Add that all up and the lease condo is now worth 688,000. On the other hand, the Reza's little investment portfolio of 600 a month is now worth 606,000. The Lees sell their condo at market price and lose 3% on commission, 2% on legal fees, and 5% on retention fees. That comes up to 10%, leaving them with 612,000 in cold hard cash. The Rezas end up paying a 27% tax when they cash out their portfolio, leaving them with 442,000. So, at the end of the day, assuming other variables don't fluctuate or exist, renting can be very similar to buying. This is, of course, only if the Rezas save and invest the difference between their monthly commitments and the Lees. Keep in mind that any small fluctuation in any percentage will make a huge difference over the course of 30 years. To paraphrase a quote from the late Albert Einstein,
compound interest is the most powerful force known to man.
Anyways, the whole point of this is that renting is not as bad as people make it out to be. It's a sound option in Malaysia instead of rushing into buying a house. You just have to ask yourself a few simple questions when deciding if you should buy or rent your own place. Is your monthly income 2.5 to 3 times the monthly installments you have to pay? Does your monthly income allow you to cover the down payment of 10 to 20%? Do you have a guarantor? Are you planning on staying long-term for at least 6 years? Is the location, value, and future prospects of the property good? If you said yes to all the questions above, then yeah, buying property is probably the better option for you in the long run. If you didn't, it's probably a better idea to stick to renting. In the end, this is nothing more than a theoretical scenario, and life has a funny way of doing things. It ultimately depends on your unique situation and goals. As they say, different strokes for different folks. We hope you found this little video helpful. Stay tuned for more videos like this, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video if you liked it. Drop us a comment below if you have any ideas for future videos, and visit us at thelevel.my for more news and updates.